Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Annette Magnus joins us. She's the founder of AM Solutions, here for the whole show on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
The new year is bringing new ways to win big during the $175,000 Winter Wonderland giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Win up to $5,000 in cash every week and a top prize of $20,000 in cash during the grand finale drawing. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program Annette Magnus. She is the founder of AM Solutions. Welcome.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me again.
You are very welcome. You just got back from Vietnam.
I did. Yeah, it was an exciting adventure that we took with our family, and it was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. So we went over the holidays, and it was a really exciting place to see, an exciting place to go for the holidays. It was great.
You know, it's very interesting to me, especially as somebody who emigrated to the United States and didn't know that much about the Vietnam War at the time it was going on. But, you know, for what this country went through with Vietnam, the economic revitalization of Vietnam has been incredible, and yet it's still a communist country, and yet we have an incredible relationship with it. Did any of that come up in your day-to-day experience?
It's interesting. Yeah, it did. Nick and I made it a point to go to some of the historical places within Vietnam and, you know, kind of see it through their eyes, honestly. It varies by where you are in the country. The North obviously was the ones who kind of came down into the South and took some of their land. And so there is some propaganda there that you see. They also call it the American War. So it's a very different kind of set of feelings there than it is here. But it was an interesting thing to talk to the locals about because a lot of them have moved on from that. And when I tell you they're some of the nicest human beings I've ever had the pleasure to meet and to travel with and to be around, they were so incredibly welcoming of Americans, and they want tourists to come there and experience their culture and especially their food. Their food is, oh my God, it's incredible. And so I felt incredibly privileged to go there, especially being someone who had an uncle who fought in the Vietnam War. I thought it was really important to go and see it and experience it kind of through new eyes and really give it an opportunity. And I'm so glad that I got to go.
Let's change topics on you here to the big political story of last week as we're taping this. was Congressman Amodei saying, despite the fact he was on this program a couple of weeks ago and sounded like he was running for re-election and well on the way, that he was stepping down. And the first thing that struck me, and I hope nobody's offended by this, but it was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe he's stepping down. I wonder why, I wonder why. And then the conversation immediately changed to, so who's going to take his place? I mean, it was like he's dead and now we're moving on.
I think part of that was because he actually didn't tell many people from everything I'm hearing. I had an opportunity to see a few other members of our delegation last week, and right after the announcement happened, and they had no idea that he was stepping down. And it sounds like many people in the political community, maybe even his own staff, didn't actually know he was going to be stepping down. And so I think this is a decision he probably made with himself and his family, and didn't really tell too many people, which that's his decision. And it completely shakes up the Nevada delegation and what we thought was going to happen this cycle with Congressional District 2. And so I think it's an exciting opportunity, though, to get some new folks in the mix, to potentially get some new people who will represent CD2. And I'm looking forward to having new leadership and people that we can work with in the congressional delegation. So I say thank you to Congressman Amodei for your service, almost 15 years in Congress and many years in the Nevada legislature. And I am looking forward to having new blood in the congressional delegation.
So the last time that there was an opportunity for a Democrat to win in CD2, because they have never won ever since this district was formed and taken over by Barbara Vukanovich back in the day, was Jill Derby, who ran twice, and she ran as what was, and people now are not going to believe this, but back in the day, Richard Bryan and Harry Reid were considered conservative Democrats. And Jill Derby ran as a Blue Dog Democrat, which is a more conservative portion of the Democratic Party. And she came as close to winning it, certainly the first time out, as anybody could. Do you think that there is an opportunity this time for a Democrat to actually win this time around?
Well, as somebody who is a Democrat and a liberal, I would absolutely love to have a real shot at taking Congressional District 2. I do think it will be hard, though, and I think you have to have the right candidate. I know several people have talked about running on the D side. Obviously, we have to wait until filing to see who officially jumps in the race, but I know several of the folks who are talking about running in CD2. And then, it also depends now on who runs on the Republican side as well. I would love to see a more moderate Republican run for that seat, somebody who could maybe speak to both the left and the right. Because I think it would be important, especially as Washoe County starts to change demographically and starts to become more blue. You kind of have a blue pocket in a sea of red. And so having somebody who's a little more moderate, a little more kind of middle of the road might speak to voters of both sides. And so I'm excited to see who the Republicans put forward. And I'm excited to see who files on the D side so that we can get, new representation for Congressional District 2 and hopefully be able to have a really good working relationship with whoever wins that race.
And I think that for the most part, even though they're not chatting with each other every day, that whether Republican or Democrat, the delegation from Nevada has worked together to benefit the state.
Yeah, historically, I think you've seen them work together mostly. I think when it comes to big issues, though, like public lands, you would see, Congressman Amodei kind of go out on his own and do his own thing. And you would see a lot of the other delegation maybe not have the same opinions. And so I think there can be even more opportunities going forward for our delegation to work together and hopefully represent all people here in Nevada, regardless of their political party.
Yeah, I thought that whole thing with the public lands issue was interesting, and it was mainly because the Southern Nevada Public Lands Act money wasn't going to come to Southern Nevada and be spread across the state, by the way, because it has been for years. Lake Tahoe has been a big beneficiary of that. But the fact that Congressman Amodei was trying to get land freed up, period, that included Southern Nevada, and boy, did he get blowback on that. And
Well, and also some of our national monument work. We are very proud to protect certain spaces in the state of Nevada. In my former position, I worked very hard to get some of those spaces designated as national monuments and protected for future generations, places like Gold Butte and Aviquame and Basin Range national monuments. And so for him to also want to repeal some of that work that had been done by Senator Reid and other people in our delegation, like Congresswoman Dina Titus, it was really important for people like me to stand up and say, absolutely not. We have a proud history of protecting our public lands, and there can be usage of those public lands and protection of those public lands. Those things can go hand in hand. And so the way he was going about it, maybe it wasn't my favorite thing. I know I certainly had a reaction when he brought that lands bill forward recently. And so I think there's opportunities going forward, maybe to have a delegation that, regardless of party, can actually work together and get stuff done for Nevada.
I'm concerned that with Congressman Amodei's leadership role, certainly for Northern Nevada, and there was so many lands bills across Northern Nevada, that with him gone and his place of influence gone, unless he's able to get stuff done the rest of this year, it's going to be very tough for somebody new to come in because they're basically going to be doing constituent service for the first few years, not really able to get out there. Now, Greg Kidd is running this time as a Democrat instead of being an independent. How do you think that's going to play with Democrats? Will they be offended that he didn't run as a Democrat the last time, or will they be pleased that he's revealed his true colors?
Honestly, I think Democrats in Northern Nevada are so desperate for people to run as Democrats. I'm hopeful that they will, get to know all of the candidates who are running for Congressional District 2 and really, kind of quiz them. I think Greg Kidd and there's Matthew Funkin and various other folks. I think, the voters of Congressional District 2 have a responsibility to get to know those candidates, give them a fair shake, really question them on how they feel about the issues, go to those candidate forums and listen to their answers, and then make an educated decision based on what they're hearing. I think just because somebody, ran as a nonpartisan and now is running as a Democrat does not automatically mean we should not give them a chance. And so I think we give everybody a fair shake, both Democrats and Republicans, listen to what they have to say, and then you go out and you make an educated decision. I think that's the best way for Nevada voters to move forward.
All right, so that is a wonderful world if that existed. The reality is it's going to be how much money these candidates on both sides are able to raise. Because last time around, Greg Kidd raised or put in $15 million of his own money. He is self-funding this time. There are some that say when you self-fund, you're excluding that portion of your campaign that says, well, we've got all this support because X amount of 1,000 people have donated $1 each to be a part of this campaign, whatever the number is. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing to self-fund?
I've seen it both ways. I've seen people self-fund. I've seen people fundraise. I think in a world where, we have campaign finance laws that maybe don't give citizens the ability to fully participate in our democracy, I think it may be time for us to look at those campaign finance laws and put some restrictions around if you can self-fund or how you're taking money from PACs and things like that. I've always thought that. I've always thought campaign finance reform would be an important thing. I think getting money out of politics could really help in a lot of ways. And I think it would maybe stop some of the partisan gridlock that we have in Congress right now. I think if elected officials were more beholden to the people who elect them, and actually answered to the people who elect them, and that is a nonpartisan statement because I think it's a problem on both sides. I think, we would have a better democracy. And I think it is a conversation that we should continue to have. The problem is will politicians actually govern themselves and get money out of politics? And I think that is a conversation that constituents need to have with their elected officials, and they need to hold them accountable because it's something that has become a real problem in our society and in the way we elect people.
Okay, so if you were a betting woman, how much would you be willing to wager that that was ever going to happen?
Oh, slim to none, right? But it is a conversation.
It's a conversation. Yeah, we'll have it over dinner. Let's take a break and we'll come right back after this timeout.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Points are flying out the door during the Point Party Palooza giveaways going on now at the Carson Valley Inn. Up to 1 million points given away each drawing night. And over 1 million in points guaranteed during the grand prize point explosion. Get in on the action at the Carson Valley Inn.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Annette Magnus. She's the founder of AM Solutions. Interesting times on the Clark County Commission, which for those in the north that may not know, is actually a more powerful body in truth than the governor, certainly in terms of the chair of that commission. District F has an open seat, and there are a lot of people running. We're going to have a lot of them come on the program. One of the most interesting ones to me is a conservative, Albert Mack, who has raised $1 million already for this race. And those races are always big money races. But this is, before we've even gotten to the primary, his grandfather was Jerry Mack, who founded Thomas and Mack back in the day. What do you think about that race and the potential with that kind of money in there that you could see more conservatives being on the Clark County Commission?
Well, I live in County Commission District F. We are unincorporated Clark County, so this is our first branch of government that represents us. So it's actually a really important seat to me. Before I even get into the race, I just have to say, County Commissioner Justin Jones has been an incredible county commissioner, and I am incredibly sad to see him go. There have been so many projects in the southwest part of Las Vegas that for years were left undone because of our previous county commissioner. And when he took over, there were roads under construction, bridges that were finally connected to something, on Jones and Cactus. There were parks that were slated to be there for years that are finally done. And it is really a shame to me to see him go because, there are a lot of times where I will hold elected officials accountable and be very vocal about it. But the work that Justin has done has been incredible for our district, and I'm very sad to see him go. Now, the race.
Can we just hold on for 1 second?
Yeah.
It's not like he's not leaving under a cloud. I mean, there's a reason he's not running for re-election.
Yeah. And look at the stuff that happened. It is unfortunate to me that that stuff happened, because again, there's a lot of good that has been done for our district because of his time there. But yeah, it is unfortunate, and he's not running because there have been, different allegations and things that have been made, and so now we have an open seat and we have a opportunity for a new person to take over, and they're going to have big shoes to fill. And so you do have, Albert Mack running. You have Heidi Kasama, who's been endorsed by the governor, has signs already all over the district bashing Albert Mack, and signs with her and the governor on them all over the district. And then you have Becky Harris, our former state senator who represented this area for 2 cycles. She is running for county commission under as a nonpartisan. And then you have people like Mindy Lloyd, Minja, various other folks running on the Democrat side. So you're going to have a competitive primary on both sides, and you're going to have a nonpartisan candidate running in the middle. So it is going to be a hotly contested race. There's going to be many people running in this race. The primary obviously will decide who goes up against each other in the general, but you will have this factor of former Senator Becky Harris, who will be on the ballot as a nonpartisan. She just had a fundraiser at former Mayor Jan Jones' house this past week. I saw Tom Letitia is running her race. So she has a very qualified campaign team running her race. So it's gonna be a very hotly contested race, and in my opinion, maybe one of the most important in the state.
Yeah, and Becky Harris goes all the way to the general, running as a nonpartisan. So
Correct.
she doesn't have a primary, so she can
Exactly.
accumulate a lot of money for that general. It's going to be a multi-million-dollar race for that seat. Amazing.
Yes.
All right, let's take another break where we'll come right back with Annette Magnus after this timeout.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Annette Magnus. She's the founder of AM Solutions. That is such a great name for a company.
Yeah, thanks, Sam, for helping me with it.
I wanted to bring up the governor's race. The Lombardo PAC just dropped the first ad, and it's attacking Aaron Ford based on the articles that were written in the Las Vegas Review-Journal about the amount of time that Aaron Ford has spent outside the state. What are your thoughts on how he should respond to that? Because obviously there was a lot of official business he was doing during those travels.
Absolutely. This is an attack we've seen time and time again. We saw it back in the Shelley Berkeley versus Dean Heller race. I'll never forget that ad. I actually saw the ad last night. I was at dinner and it just came on the TV. I was like, oh, there it is. The fact that he's attacking Ford this early shows me that Ford is a real force to be reckoned with. We're not even out of the primary. There is a competitive primary on the Democrat side between Attorney General Aaron Ford and County Commissioner Alexis Hill. And so the fact that Lombardo is already going after Ford shows that I think Lombardo is running scared. And he knows that once that primary is decided, he assumes that Ford will get out of that race, that Ford is going to be a formidable opponent against him. And I think that's going to be true. I think whoever gets out of that Democrat primary will be a force to be reckoned with against Lombardo. And really what we have to look at is the Trump effect here. You know, we are in a midterm election. Historically, if you go back and look, the president in power, their party always does worse in a midterm election. Doesn't matter the party. And so you have a Republican president who is wildly unpopular, who is going to be tied to Joe Lombardo because Joe Lombardo is MAGA. He has endorsed Donald Trump. And so he knows that the policies that the president is putting forward are not popular, and he's going to have to go on the attack against Aaron Ford.
And it'll be very interesting. And I should just point out again, it's the Lombardo PAC that's supporting him, not actually the Lombardo campaign.
It's all the same.
Well, not legally. Annette Magnus, always a pleasure to have you on the program. I know you'll be coming back many times before election days.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's always great to be here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. And we'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Check out our archives section on NevadaNewsmakers.com. Great interviews going back as far as 2002. Really worth watching. We'll see you in the next podcast.